This is part A of the KhoodeelaarTV television channel being broadcast on the internet under the banner of the Baby Angel Geronimo editions. This is part A on Thursday, the 16th of November 2023. The main updates in this broadcast are in the broadcast itself, but the central items include the SNP's amendment or response to the so-called King's Speech, which the SNP topically turned into motion for ceasefire in Gaza in the House of Commons on Wednesday, the 15th of November 2023. Over in the USA, the Doddering USA President Biden sting in backing the zionist genocidist holocaust of the Palestinians, babies, children, infants, women, and other innocent people in Palestine. The political murderer of the BritishLabour Party, Keir Starmer, festering in defying calls to support ceasefire motion on Gaza. Now, the Security Council motion for ceasefire of sorts has been not supported by the USA or Britain. And there is a Guardian interview with Bedfordshire ex-MP Conservative Nadine Dorries promoting Johnson and herself. These are just, and that is this continuing in the Private Lie magazine and its unreliability. I start from that one. Private Lie and its unreliability. What do I mean by Private Lie's unreliability? Well, apart from the fact that for the last few weeks or few months or few fortnights, because it's a fortnightly edition, Private Lie has been misleading readers or potential readers or the public by saying that its latest edition is available in the bookshelf, in the news or the shelves, as it says. But this is edition, Private Lie edition, number 1611, and it covers the fortnight 17th of November to 30th of November 2023. Is the camera likely to catch this one? The camera may not be able to because of the lack of stability on the platform that I have put the laptop on, which is on my lap, which is not very stable. So this is the Private Lie edition 1611, which is officially published tomorrow, which is the 17th of November 2023. Now, obviously, this was printed last week. That is before the weekend, I think, or maybe at the very last end of the weekend, the main one, but the items that it does have about the sacking of Suella Ibila Cruella as Home Secretary and the institution or the installing as Foreign Secretary and giving at the same time a fast, speedy, peerage, that is membership of the House of Peers, on David Cameron, so that he is a member of one house of the two houses of Parliament. Now, these items have not been properly dealt with by Private Lie. The tokenistic, very shallow and very artificial. So what I have to say today is that despite the fact that all these newspapers, the Fleet Street newspapers or the broadcasting outlets, the British broadcasting outlets, even excluding the right-wing fascistic ones like GB News, etc. If we include the Sky News and Channel 4 News after the BBC, the coverage of these events are not up to scratch. And it is not worth ordinary people buying the newspapers or paying the subs or paying the cost of watching the broadcast outlets. There is nothing original in any of the organs or the channels. Nothing original whatsoever. That is bad. As if that was not bad enough. The racists, which is what they are, who control the British state, are forever looking out for any excuse to undermine the idea of human rights, which is evident in today's Times newspaper in a piece by a woman called Samuel. She says that the human rights are over. Now, this is a particularly nasty, ignorant, idiotic piece about the human rights. Because what she is doing, this is part of the attack on the Supreme Court's ruling against the Supreme Court's ruling against the Rwanda stunt by the criminals in the UK government. The Rwanda stunt was first mooted by the ugly Patel, Priti Patel, ugly Patel, when she was in the post as Home Secretary. Now, here is this piece by this woman called Juliette Samuel. She's a particularly nasty criminal, stupid. And the piece on page 25 of the Times is human rights treaties have had their day. Fuck off. She doesn't know human rights and she doesn't know what treaties are and she has no idea what she's talking about, except to say that she's a jobbing columnist, comment writer on the Times. And she has been ordered to write this stupid shit. Now, because the Supreme Court ruling was not about human rights treaties. The Supreme Court ruling that was published yesterday, Wednesday, 15th of November 2023, was about refoulement and the unreliability of the regime in Rwanda. It wasn't about the human rights treaties, but about the certain risk of the criminals constituting the regime in Rwanda, abusing their power and sending the migrants back to the countries of origin. That is the process called refoulement. Now, what that means is that as most of the people who are fleeing their countries of origin are fleeing to escape torture, violence, and lack of universal safety and security in their own country. So if these people are sent to Rwanda from the United Kingdom where they sought asylum, then they will be definitely treated as the easiest of targets for murder by their countries of origin and the nasty regimes. And that is what is meant in the ruling by the Supreme Court, in which it says that Rwanda is not reliable and Rwanda is not safe for these refugees and migrants, asylum seekers, whatever, because this regime will most certainly send these people back to the hell they tried to escape. And the process of sending them back to the process is called refoulement. Now, this criminal woman, Juliette Samuel, has never talked about human rights, has never talked about the human rights treaties until now, this week. And she's only doing this in order to crowd the platform where the platform has been created by Rishi Sunak and other criminals so that they can actually preach hatred and incitement against the innocent migrants and refuge seekers, asylum seekers. So, for example, if an asylum seeker or a refugee, say, is in the middle of crossing the channel between France and England, and once the particular individual reaches England, if the English government arrests the individual, handcuffs them, and puts them on a flight back to whatever country they came from, that is called refoulement. And there is no guarantee whatsoever. There is no guarantee whatsoever in anything that Suella Ibila Cruella said in support of respecting the particular asylum seekers' dignity and integrity and sovereignty, so that they cannot be and they are not refouled back to where they escaped from. Now, the fact that the Sunak is all over the British racist, anti-migrant, anti-Muslim, anti-Palestinian newspapers, it is not about the Palestinian children, infant, babies being massacred by the Zionists, but it is about the right of the United Kingdom to behave as it whimsically is its government, ministers and cabinet cabal whimsically want to behave. Now, this treaty, series of treaties that are in place, for example, the leading one being the Refugee Convention, these have been in place for several decades, especially the Refugee Convention of 1950. And there has been absolutely no noise by the conservatives in the media against this provision of giving a spot to the asylum seekers. We shall be talking about all of this in fuller details in later editions, ending this one just under 20 minutes.